Hey everybody, Brock Zevan coming from Charlotte, North Carolina today here in my home office. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we did in our mindset call this morning. Each morning at 8:15, we do this mindset call, and today's was about talking about perspective and different angles that we look at things. And one of the things that I got is from the book that I'm reading, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I want to share with you a little bit of this story where I was working with somebody, one of my coaching clients. They asked me to come on out to look at a situation and get my perspective of it. And so during the entire time period that they were talking and showing me everything, I was just being quiet. I was absorbing everything and just listening. One of the things I learned in this book in Habit 5 talks about empathetic listening and being able to, that's why God gives us 2 ears and one mouth, is to absorb and to listen. And so as they were going through everything, they were talking for about 10 or 15 minutes. And they're like, boy, Brock, you're really quiet. How come you haven't said anything? And many times it made me just stop and reflect that we just want to keep talking. And then when we are quiet, we think something's wrong. I mean, how many times in a relationship, if your significant other or if your child's quiet, it's like, wait a minute, what's wrong? What's going on? How come you haven't talked? And it's because we're just prone to this society to be able to immediately, we're not really listening. We just are thinking what we're going to say. And so when I was walking through and they were asking me these questions, I was just absorbing everything. And the reason why is in the book, it talks about from Abraham Maslow. He says, those that are good with the hammer tend to think everything is a nail. I'll say it again. Those that are good with the hammer tend to think everything is a nail. And so when I was out there exploring and looking at everything and absorbing everything, just like in anything that we do, we immediately go to our autobiography of our life, our previous scripts, whatever it might be that has been put inside of us. And we immediately respond to the first thing that comes to our mind from previous experiences. And then it comes up inside of our brain and we say it. And so when I was walking around, I was just absorbing because I was like, well, it's obvious that this is the case. It's obvious this is happening here. So I wanted to come from a different perspective when I was doing it. When I'm doing that, I can't be talking. I just have to be absorbing. So many times in our lives, we just want to talk instead of absorb. We only want to hear what we want to hear. We filter in, well, that's the only thing I want, and then I'm going to say whatever it is that I want to say. And so we have to be able to absorb, yet to be able to understand based off of this passage here, not everything is that way. There are many uses to a hammer. You can actually remove nails. You can pound things in. You can be able to adjust things. You can do many different things with a hammer than just pounding a nail. And so when you are looking and you are observing, I want you to keep in mind to sometimes just reflect, just listen sometimes, and then be able to come up with a game plan. Look at it from a different angle. And so yesterday when I was out reviewing the situation at hand, I wanted to be able to absorb and then ask some questions before I just started saying my own diagnosis of the situation. And I challenge you that not only in your business world, but in your relationships as well. Many times when we listen to our significant other or our children, immediately before they even can finish half the time, we're automatically telling them what we think. Like, oh no, let me just tell you how this works. Okay. No, you don't understand. This is the way to do it. When really there are several ways to do things, as we've heard, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Because not only when we look at it from a different point of view, just like there's many different people who have many different lenses, it's the same thing with many different lenses in life. Not everything is just the way it's supposed to be. We have to look at it from a different perspective. We have to understand before we speak. And so I challenge you that when you're going through a situation or your significant other or your children say something, instead of saying the first thing that comes to your mind, instead of assuming that the only thing a hammer does is pound in nails, that you take a look at it, you reflect, and you say, okay, let me see what this possibly could be. All right, it's too easy. This answer is automatic. but maybe there's a different way for me to say something. Maybe there's a different way for me to be able to take a look at it. Part of the book talks about a win-win situation. Maybe there's a way for me to understand before I speak, to look at it from their angle, to look at it from my angle, to look at it from a neutral angle, maybe to ask somebody, okay, why did this take place? Tell me a little bit more. When did this happen? All these different things could come into play before I completely do a knee-jerk reaction and say something that really is just the simple thing of just like, well, hammer, nail, let me pound it in. Maybe there's different things. Maybe the nail's already there and it actually needs to be removed instead of hammered in, or we automatically just go to hammer. So I challenge you today on different things that you're hearing, different challenges you're going through when you get home, or if you're already with your kids. Take a time to be able to reflect on what they're saying, listening, because everything that a hammer does is not just pounding nails. There's other things that it could do. And hopefully that can help you the next time you're in a consulting, the next time you're in a challenge, the next time you're asked, what are your thoughts? You're going to be able to take different angles and give a different perspective on it. Thanks so much for listening. Looking forward to hearing you again or seeing you again shortly. Once again, my name is Brock Zevan. Feel free to click the link below to subscribe to our channel. And if there's anything I could do to help you, please feel free to reach out. Thanks so much and have a great day.